Hi guys, I'm going to show you how I tricked out awesometable so that makes it very interactive, and it has a lot of different kinds of different features that we needed to solve a particular problem in our school. The problem that we were having was where to put our concerns, like have a database where something happens in your class or whatever, or there's certain patterns that are coming from students that our students are displaying, and you want to put it somewhere. You need to put the information into some sort of database. And so anyway, so this is one way of doing it. This uses awesometable, and it uses the proxy and templating features. So if you're not familiar with those, then I highly recommend that you understand that first. Otherwise, you'll probably go over your head real quick because of that. But anyway, so imagine you're a teacher and something happened in your class, and you want to enter information, like something happened to Bart, and you want to enter the fact that there's something happened today, and then other people can see it. Any teacher who teaches grade 8 can see this entry, but if you don't teach grade 8, you don't see it. Using awesometable's row level permissions, that's possible. Really cool. And you can see the viewers, you can see who can see it, you can see who edited it, and you can add comment. I'll just go down to where there's a comment there. That's what it looks like. And there's also a kind of different kinds of entries. So this is a regular entry, so to speak. This is an entry where, as well as adding this to the database, you also want it to send the email to the parent. So we call that a different kind of thing as external communication. And it has a more button because it's long, right? So it displays. It has a little envelope just to make it clear that it's an email that went out. And again, there's a commenting feature there. So let's take you through, like, your teacher and something happens, and so Lisa, make it a regular one. I'll explain the private permissions a little bit later, but it's basically data, just basically the thing that happens in academic concern. I've already made a long-winded little thing here, and I just submit, and I close it, and it will. What happens is it will refresh and display that data as you would expect. Right there it is. Okay, because it's so long, it has a more button. And you can. So imagine now you are another teacher, and you want to add a comment to that. Thanks. We'll follow up with parents or something. Commit, submit. You close it, and it auto refreshes. There it is. There it is. Okay, so try to get down to, now you understand how it works in the front end. Let's see how it works in the back end. So just like you would for any awesometable with forms, there's a sheet that's linked to the form, and here's the form that's linked to. There's also another sheet. Did you know actually you have two sheets linked to two different forms in the same spreadsheet? That's the case here. This is the comments, and this is the form that links them. All right. So when there's a new submission, whenever you add new, and the data goes into here, right? And all the data gets copied onto here. Now, from here over is what I just put in. But after that is actually derived. It actually automatically filled in for us. So we know what grade Lisa's in, and we know who her teachers are, and we know who her parents are, and we know whatever else we need to know. The way that works is that whenever submit, there's an on submission script run, and what it does is it copies this value, this text, into this cell, and this does a formula, does a database operation which is called dget, which is really just a formula, and what it means is look at this database, right? Database which is in the student roster, which is here. Look for the identification number of this, the student ID of that, and give me back the grade, which is here. That's what that formula means. Oh, let's go back. Sorry. That's what that formula actually. That's what that all means. Now, how it gets there is, like I said, on the script actually puts it into there every time a new entry is made. Okay. So just to prove it as a proof of concept, I'm going to change this value from empty to private because that changes the behavior on the front end. It makes it pink. So it's a private note. So like, for example, if I had just gone add new and changed and clicked that box, then it would have become pink. And what that has special meaning for us, in permissions, it means that only the counselor or senior admins can see this. So that way the teachers are not just putting in regular stuff like oh, they forgot their homework, but they're inputting maybe more sensitive information, like well, whatever other kinds of information that might be. And this is a key, I think, a key feature that I've actually used other like more complicated like systems with like servers and download a lot of money and that simple kind of feature they don't have. So it's pretty cool. Um, so the way that works with the private thing, if I click on private, if I make this private, the column that decides the permissions changes. Where's the permission? Here's the permissions column. You see that it says counselors, right? Because it's a formula that says if it's a private note, which we said earlier in the cell, if it says private in that cell, then okay, only counselors. Otherwise, make it anyone else who wants to see. The teacher roster is here, by the way, with the grade. So it's using database operation that says, okay, Lisa is in kindergarten, so any of the teachers that teach kindergarten can see it. I'm going to change it back to 0 to nothing, and it will change the. Go back. It changes. It changed the permission changed from counselors only to all these people. Okay, that's how that is working. Now for the comment though, this is really what's really interesting is because here's a comment box for Lisa's and for Lisa's entry, and the comment box looks like this. Go back to here. It looks like that. Okay. Now this actually has meaning to a JavaScript programmer. It's an array with an object, and in that object are the item of comment. This is better formatting this way. It makes a little bit more sense if you go like this. There he is. Okay, that's better. A little bit better. Anyway. Yeah. Okay. So it makes a lot more sense if you look at it like that, right? So it's an array with one object, and in that object there's two items, a comment and a name. But that's not what's shown here, right? Oops, that's not what's shown here at all. So how does it go from looking like that to looking like that? That happens through some extra scripts which I've written that do this. And so let me explain. I've shown you this screen a few times as a kind of a tease, I guess. This is actually a flow chart of how it all works. So there's a few places where things are written, like scripts that are written that make all this work, and they're all shown by this little icon, the script, the scroll sort of icon. So in the database, in the spreadsheet, there's the dget formula, which is database query formula, which actually keeps the records up to date. And there's an onSubmit script that runs every time a new entry is made, right? Which I was explaining. And in this database, there's also the teacher's information, the student's information, and there's the comments, and it all gets fed into the main spreadsheet, which then can be displayed here, right? So what I'm going to show you though is more of the complete picture. So you start with the front end, right? You click on Add New, and it takes you to a form that gets input, that gets the data sent into this database, which is like, I guess, again here. Then it gets updated, right? Or you click on Add Comment, and it goes to the form, which also goes the same procedure as before. It gets updated. Then it goes through the proxy, which feeds the data into the front end. And that's where kind of the magic is. Because in the front end, they have the proxy injects JavaScript code into the browser. And so that way it's able to use jQuery and CSS or any other of the frameworks that I want to make it do whatever I want. The proxy, there's a special proxy. I'm just going to show you the template because the proxy actually understands what this means. And I'm going to show you a prettier version of that here. So the proxy is set up to look at the script template, header of that, and it sees, okay, this is an object. And it's saying, okay, in that object there's a load, and it's saying, okay, load these, this JavaScript, load the CSS, load this CSS, load that JavaScript. And I've actually can define, if you're familiar with developing for web apps, this is very familiar to you. You're basically using front-end development tools to make it do whatever the heck you want. So in this case, I'm loading up jQuery. I've chosen the theme, and then I have the special CSS, custom CSS that overrides those things, and then I implement jQuery UI, which gives me the format of the buttons to make it gray and all that stuff. I have Font Awesome, which is the envelope icon that you saw. This is some more frameworks that I use under the hood. And finally, I get to this one, which is the my main JavaScript that lets me do the comment, and it actually will look at that object that I showed you in that cell, and it formats it appropriately. So that's basically how I got it all working. I probably went through it too fast, but the last thing to show you, if you can bear it, is the actual template. Just trying to call it the template here. There it is. The template is also quite different, because normally in awesometable you have the template using this format to enter the data, and I actually have the column attribute. Column attribute meaning take whatever is in column N, column O, column N meaning the column N like in the data, like this, student name. So it'll put the student's name there, and it'll put the grade there, and it'll put the next thing there. And I have a bunch of JavaScript that just automatically sees that the fact that, okay, here's a tag with column equals whatever, and then we'll replace that information like that. And here it goes to the commenting, the comments, which is a stringified attribute, which is defined in the JavaScript to mean this is the template to use that will make it look like that. Okay. Anyway, so that's how it works.